Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this webinar with the Crowdfund Sport webinar. I am Anna and I'm part of the coaching team here at Crowdfunder. For obvious reasons, we can't hold our workshops on location at the moment, so we're bringing them to you from our homes straight into your homes. So hopefully by the end of today's workshop, you're leaving knowing more about crowdfunding and the Sport England Active Together Fund to prepare you to crowdfund for your sports organisation. And at the end, you'll be sent a link to the Learn platform, which will show you how to crowdfund, giving you the tools to raise the money to make your idea happen. So before we begin, just a couple of housekeeping points. Firstly, we've allowed 30 minutes for the session, but it might take a bit less or more depending on how many questions that we get from the audience. And if you do have a question, please do type it into the chat box on the right-hand side of the screen. We'll try to get through as many as possible during the live session. And as I mentioned, we're all working from home, so anything can happen. Our internet might dip out. You might hear a dog bark in the background. The postman might come, but just please bear with us. And finally, if any of you are sitting there thinking, can we see you? Don't worry, you can relax, have a cup of tea, walk around. You can all see us, but we can't see you. So today we are going to hear from our dedicated sports crowdfunding coach, Chloe. We're also going to hear from a few people who've crowdfunded before, so we'll find out what worked and what didn't work in making their campaign a success. So without further ado, Chloe, are you there?
I am indeed. Hi, Anna.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm really well, thank you. How are you?
Very well, very well. So let's get to it. For those who don't know, can you give us a little bit of information about crowdfunding?
Yeah, absolutely. So crowdfunding is a great way to raise money and awareness for your organisation through engaging with the community. You'll set up a page that will look a little bit like this one here, and then promote that page to your crowd or community. And those that want to support you or perhaps fancy one of your rewards will make a pledge and help you reach your goal. When you're setting up your page, firstly, don't worry if you're not too tech savvy. Our development team have done a brilliant job of making the platform really user-friendly. When creating your page, it's really important to think about the whole community. Don't fall into the trap of creating a page just for your members. Remember, these people are already the most likely to pledge on your campaign. So you want to make it as engaging for everyone that might come across your crowdfunder campaign. Make sure you include plenty of information. Use headlines to separate your text into sections on who you are as an organisation, the positive impact that your organisation has on the whole community. So perhaps you host community events, maybe you've done some work for charity, or maybe other organisations use your facilities. It's important to include as much detail there as possible. This one sounds a bit obvious, but tell us why you're crowdfunding. So for many of you here, that will be the effects that COVID has had on you as an organisation. And finally, be really transparent with how you plan to spend the money. As a potential pledger, I'm more likely to donate to a campaign if I can see how my donation is going to help. Now you've got loads of information on your page, you want to make it as engaging as possible. And the best way to do that is to add images and videos to really bring your page to life. Include videos and images of the people that are benefiting from your club, as well as the facilities as well. And finally, don't forget to add rewards. So rewards are the best way to encourage more and higher pledges. We offer this function in addition to offering donations. So if you just want to donate on a campaign, you can, but you can also pledge on one of the rewards, and you can get really inventive with these. Again, think about the whole community and not just your club members. You can, of course, offer rewards to your club members, but try and get a little bit more inventive. speak to local businesses, speak to club members to see what could be donated to be used as a reward. We've seen absolutely all sorts on there, and I've included on this page some nice examples of rewards that I've seen recently. You can see discounted acupuncture sessions, discounted fish and chips. I think there's even a metal detecting experience on there as well. So really interesting rewards to broaden your network and tempt pledges from outside that immediate network that you have. We also offer a function called Multiplier. This allows people to fundraise on behalf of your project, and it works really, really well for sports clubs in particular. You've got a club full of people by definition, and all these people want your campaign to succeed. So they can actually do something to help raise a little bit extra money to go towards your campaign. Perhaps you've got teams or squads in your club that want to compete against each other to see who can raise the most. So that might add a bit of a competitive element to your campaign. Or maybe you've got some individuals that want to do something special, like run a marathon or do 100 cartwheels, whatever it may be. They can set up a little mini project, and everything they raise will go towards your campaign to help you reach your goal. This is an example of a project that's used the multiplier function, Bishop's Cleeve Community Sports Hub. Their main page is that large one, and then you can see they've got 14 fundraisers, so 14 individuals that have set up mini pages connected to this big one to help the club reach their target. So I'm sure many of you here know that we have joined forces with Sport England to offer some extra funding. The fund is called Active Together, and it's designed to help sports clubs overcome the effects of COVID. Each club can receive up to £10,000 or up to a maximum of 50% of their project target. To be eligible to receive extra funding from Sport England, you must be based in England. You must be a not-for-profit organisation that brings sport or physical activity to the community. You will need to apply for extra funding, which you can do through your dashboard once you've created your crowdfunder page. Do be aware that Sport England review your application form, but also your project page. So don't apply until your page is looking fantastic and includes all the points I mentioned previously. So this is how it will work. You'll set up your page and apply for extra funding. If approved, once you meet 25% of your target and the required supporter numbers, that's when Sport England will make a pledge onto your campaign, and you'll see that propel you forward closer to your target. Now, I mentioned supporter numbers there. You can see from the table that depends on what your target is. So I'm going to give you a nice simple example. If my target is £10,000, I can see there that I need to find at least 50 unique supporters in order to activate that pledge from Sport England. I then need to make sure that I reach 100% of my target in order to secure the extra funding. This is part of the pledge condition, so really important that you do. But then if you meet 100% and you've still got some time left on your campaign, you can absolutely continue crowdfunding. We allow projects to add stretch targets to avoid your campaign looking complete before the end of the duration of your campaign, and also to encourage your crowd to continue supporting you. Sport crowdfunds really, really well. That makes sense to me because crowdfunding is all about the community getting together and cheering for a common goal. And I think the same can be said about sports. I've included this page just to show you an example of the range of sports that we see crowdfunding with us successfully, I might add. And there's absolutely everything on there, from rugby and cricket to speed skating and scuba diving. That's all from me. Anna, I'm going to hand back to you.
Thank you very much, Chloe. Very nice to hear all of that. Yeah, really insightful. So next up, we are going to hear from Debs and Emma, who raised an impressive £6,483 for Live Well North East. if you have any questions for them, please do pop them on the right-hand side into the chat box, and we'll go through them shortly. Hi, Debs. Hi, Emma. Are you both there?
We are. Hello.
Hello. Hello, support bubble. Thank you so much for joining us today. And yeah, we look forward to sort of hearing about your experience. Your project raised over £6,000 from 68 supporters, which is fantastic. Firstly, can you tell us a little bit about your project?
Yes, so our project was, we put it in place to help raise money for the opening of our fitness and wellbeing centre that's currently in development, and for our boxing club as well, and to ensure a really safe return, a COVID-friendly, if that's even the word, safe return. We just wanted to bring our centre and our boxing club, bring it back to life, bring it alive, and just to recover and rebuild, because I think that's probably key for a lot of people at the moment, to help that recovery and get back on track with everything.
Brilliant. Yeah, no, I think that is definitely what people need. And why did you decide to crowdfund for the project?
I think we've looked at crowdfunding a few times, and then we joined a webinar. I think that was possibly either through Sport Ed or through yourselves, and we worked with our Sport Ed representative as well to get some advice on it. And we figured that it was the right time to start and to really give it a shot and give it a go.
Brilliant. That's good. And the whole experience with crowdfunding, it's obviously, it is hard work. What do you think was sort of the most difficult thing about crowdfunding?
It was nerve-wracking, that's for sure. So we were, you set a target and you think, are we going to do this? Can we do this? And I think probably the hardest thing that we found was maintaining the momentum. So we had our project for 4 weeks, I think it was, and you start with all of that excitement and like, we've got to go for it. And it's keeping that going and keeping people's interest. So ensuring that we were popping updates on, we were sending messages via the crowdfunder page, that we were posting on social media regularly. It's keeping people's interest, because after maybe the first week or two, people have seen it a few times and they may be not looking at it as much, so it's just keeping that momentum going. But we managed it.
Yeah,
definitely. Well, we always sort of talk about a U shape of, obviously at the start there's the interest because it is brand new, everyone's excited about it, and then it does go a bit quieter in the middle, but it's very sort of normal for that to happen. It happens with even the biggest campaigns. So as you say, it's just about keeping the interest up by using different avenues, maybe adding a few more rewards, or just kind of keeping chatting about it, but also using that quiet period as a time to reflect on, what's gone well, or what's not gone so well. And in terms of what do you think that actually went best, or what worked best for you guys when you crowdfunded?
I think directly asking people to share and to help, and explaining the reasons why, and saying that we really do need your help, so please help us out. Helping and getting people feeling really involved in it as well. We had a lot of people doing their own little challenges and doing little fitness. It was Move It March we were doing, and getting people directly involved. I think what else worked well was the social media presence, keeping it going, changing things up. We had quite a lot of different focuses, so we'd have maybe for a couple of days we'd focus on one area, and then the next couple of days we'd focus on something else, just to change that perspective.
Keeping that interest going, wasn't it? Getting people involved, getting people excited. That's what worked the best, I think.
I know Chloe and I have spoken about it before. The great thing about sort of sports clubs or sports organizations crowdfunding is you can get so many people involved with your crowdfunder, and the more people you get involved in sort of helping you, support you, obviously your network grows, and it gets, you know, more exposure and more awareness.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And in terms of your project page, you did a really fantastic job of making sure that it was really engaging, full of personality, and we really liked your use of videos. We often speak with projects who are a bit nervous about shooting videos. What tips would you give to someone thinking about, you know, getting in front of the camera? Do you have any advice around that?
Have fun with it.
Yeah.
I think that's the key. We have so much fun. We are quite nervous, and we have been very nervous making videos, but just having fun, and it's a great opportunity to really get across why you genuinely need this and you want to do this, and just being you.
I mean, that is why people come to your sports club, is for you, really. They obviously come to your sports club. People like your personality, so let that shine. I think that really is. And once you've done that video once, it's easier the next time and the next time. And the lovely thing about videos is you can shoot a video as many times as you need to until you're happy, and so keep at it, because it gets easier every time.
It does.
Great advice. And definitely have fun with it. And obviously there were the both of you working on the campaign, but did you have anyone else involved, and how did you divide the workload while crowdfunding?
We had a lot of help from our sport ed mentor, Emily. Absolutely fantastic. We had all of our friends, our family helping out, but we had our fab social media team as well helping us with everything. It's really important, I think, to delegate and to realise it's a big thing to do, and you can't do it alone. You might think you can, but you need a lot of people to help you with it. And Crowdfunder, of course, as well, communicating with Crowdfunder and asking questions as well when you need to.
Yeah, definitely. Reach out for help. Absolutely, all the way. Yeah.
And as you're exactly right, Debs, that you know, you can't do everything, and actually people don't have strengths in every single area. So having someone that's really good at social media in charge of that is much better than someone who doesn't have any interest trying to do it, but finding it really, really challenging. And finally, before we get Chloe back and we sort of get some questions from the audience, what advice would you give someone who's thinking about crowdfunding or about to crowdfund?
Do it. That's the best advice. We were really nervous. We put it off for a good while. But with the support of Crowdfunder, the support of Sported, we decided to just go for it, and we got excited. And when you get excited, that gets other people excited. So get excited and get other people excited.
Definitely.
Use all of the tools and resources on the Crowdfunder page. Have a look at other crowdfunders. I think we spent a good while just having a good old nosy at everybody's crowdfunder, and that looks good, and we'll try that, and you can add this, and it's brilliant. Look around and just ask for help as well. Get that page looking fab and exciting, and you can have bigger text and bold text and pictures and videos, and use all of those tools, because that makes it pop.
Definitely.
I think that's really good advice, and there are so many great sports clubs that have crowdfunded before, so don't reinvent the wheel, and go and have a look at all of the sort of what they've done, and you can get some really nice ideas through that way. Well, thank you very much for those questions so far. If Chloe would like to return, I'm gonna and if anyone's got any questions from the panel, please drop them again into the chat box. But let's get through some questions. What have we got? Oops, sorry, I can feel my dog is starting to stand. So, firstly, so this is a question for Chloe. Can you change your stretch target once you've launched?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can't change your initial target, but you can change your stretch throughout. If you reach a stretch target, you can add another and another and just keep going.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And then another one for Chloe. What about a community centre? Would that be eligible for a crowdfund?
Yeah, absolutely. So Sport England support projects that are not for profit and providing activity, physical activity or sport to the community. So you could be a sports club or you could be a community hub with some physical activities taking place.
Thank you very much. Then you guys, projects, we've got a question for you. What adversities were faced when presenting this project?
I think the initial fear was really hard, and the rewards, we hummed and hawed for a while about what do we do with rewards, how do we do this, but then again when we started to look at other pages and look for advice and speak to people about what does work well for rewards, we overcame that.
Mm-hmm. What was your approach in getting rewards?
We contacted a lot of local businesses, a lot of people in the area who we may have worked with before, people who we haven't worked with before, and people really do want to help. I think that's reaching out and maybe sending a message or an email or even a phone call is probably better. And there's a lot of people really willing to help you.
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea. And yeah, asking the audience of what kind of things going to be interesting to them. What are they actually going to buy? Because they're the ones you'll be reaching out to. So if you're feeling a bit stuck, and even if you're not feeling stuck, I think that's one of the things that Chloe and I always tell people to go and ask them what their advice is. So thank you for those. A couple of more questions related to targets. Is there a limit to the target that you can set? And does the target that you include, does it include the match funding or without the match funding? Sorry, that's two questions for you, Chloe, about targets.
That's fine. Yes, it includes match funding. That the extra funding goes towards your target, so it will boost you closer to it. There's no limit. You can crowdfund for as much as you need. If you can get as many people behind you as possible, it's really impressive.
Brilliant, thank you. Yeah, I think we've got so much guidance on what to consider when you set your target. So definitely go and have a look at that. I know Chloe will mention our resources later again. A question for Debs and Emma from Neil. Would you do it again? And if you did do it again, what would you do differently?
We would absolutely do it again.
Definitely.
Yeah,
absolutely. What would we do differently?
I think we'd probably have more rewards and incentives planned in advance. I think we did really well at getting all the rewards, but it was quite rushed. So maybe that planning before we actually start the campaign, plan it a bit more, and have a bit more time on that. And we had a few external rewards, but we didn't have loads. So I think we'd get more external rewards as well. Definitely spend a lot more because it's time, isn't it? If you're contacting a business to ask for a spa day, it could take 3 or 4 weeks to hear back from them. So it's given that little bit of time. Preparation. Definitely a bit more preparation.
It's worth, like, I guess, doing the hard work of all the planning before you actually launch, so that when you're actually live in crowdfunding, you're just following that plan and just tweaking it accordingly. I think that's definitely recommended. It's obviously sometimes harder sort of said than done.
Definitely.
But thank you very much. Another question. So this is Sports England funding related. How is there plenty of money still left in the pot, Chloe?
Yes, there is plenty available at the moment. I believe we're just shy of distributing £2 million, which is incredible, but that means there's still £500,000 in the pot at the moment.
Brilliant. And remind, there's another question about the maximum that someone can get through match funding from Sport England. How much is that, Chloe?
The maximum is £10,000. It does depend on what your target is. So it's up to 50% of your target, but usually I'm seeing between 30 and 50%. So bear that in mind. And that will depend on a few things, your project page, the IMD decile that you're in as well. So if you're from a more affluent area, you may get more towards the 30%. And if you're in a higher IMD decile, you may get more towards the 50%. So bear that in mind when thinking about your target.
Thank you. So there's one more technical question I'll ask, and then we'll talk a bit more about crowdfunding pages. Do crowdfunder take a percentage of the amount of money that you raise, Chloe?
So we don't charge platform fees on COVID response projects. So if you're part of the Active Together Fund, then there's no platform fees. Our payment provider does charge a 1.9% fee.
Thank you very much. So Debs and Emma, this is a question around the videos. What equipment would you suggest that people need for shooting a video?
You can just use your phone. Your phone, absolutely. You can do a lot with a lot of apps on your phone.
Yeah. Amazing. Do you have any recommendations for the apps that you used?
I think there's so many of them out there. I think we've used
Quick Videos,
WeVideo,
WeVideo, yeah.
Just lots of different. And in fact, we did one on TikTok. Yeah, we did it on TikTok, and then used that.
Yeah.
Amazing. That's great. And someone's asking about who sets up the crowdfunding page. That is the project. How did you find that experience, Debs and Emma? What about actually sort of putting all the information in?
It wasn't. Yeah, it was okay. It was straightforward.
Really the platform is really easy to use, and you've got your text box and insert picture, insert video, bold. It's really straightforward to use that. Getting all the content in, I think, is the biggest, making sure you've covered all of the information. Yeah. But again, there's the crowdfunder resources that tell you what sort of things that you should put in. Yeah. So just use all of those resources and get as much information in as possible. I think we were advised, make it as if the person looking at your page knows nothing about you and has never met you and lives at the other end of the country, because then if you can get those people supporting you, then you've got the best chance.
That's really good advice. And I think it's worth pointing out as well that you can leave it in draft mode for as long as you need until you're ready to actually launch on the website. So you can start sort of adding the details in when, after this webinar, but then when you're ready, you can then actually launch it. I'm just going to check and see if we've got any more. Oh, there are a few more that have come through. So, Chloe, if you're a local authority, can you apply?
Yep, any not-for-profit organisation that brings activity to the community can apply. And I mean, if we're talking about crowdfunding in general, you can crowdfund for absolutely anything, provided it's legal and not offensive.
And Ed's also asking about is it just for new organisations? Is it only for COVID-related issues, or can new organisations also apply?
Yeah, so you for extra funding, the Active Together Fund is specifically designed to overcome COVID. So if you're going for extra funding from them, it may not be for you. However, you can still crowdfund, and we do have loads of extra funding pots available. So it's not just Sport England. This is the one that we're promoting at the moment for obvious reasons. It's very popular. However, there are loads of funding pots. So check out our extra funding page and see if there's anything else that might be suitable as well.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. I think that's all the time that we have for questions for today. But it's really been fantastic to hear from you guys that you've done it, been there, you've had that experience. I'm sure you've inspired lots of people today. So thank you, Emma and Debs. And finally, Chloe, can you let us know what are the next steps?
Yeah, absolutely. So hopefully you all feel a little bit more familiar with crowdfunding and how it might be able to help your organisation. So now it's time to become a real expert. Anna mentioned that I might be talking about the resources available, and I absolutely am. We have an online learning platform specifically designed to help crowdfund for sport. It will talk you through planning, creating and running a campaign, and it will give you loads of tips and tricks on how to make a great campaign. So go through that course. At the end of that, you can book a call with me if you've not had enough of me yet, and we can talk about your campaign and how to run a successful one.
Brilliant. Thank you, Chloe. And again, thank you, Debs and Emma from Live Well Northeast. And thank you all for joining us today. I really hope you did find it useful. Please do follow the link to the Learn platform to take the next step in your crowdfunding journey. And best of luck with your crowdfunding campaign.